The following story was submitted to us in Vietnamese. I used a translator and tried to keep her words as close as possible to how she told the story, with some exceptions such as including a few extra keywords to structure the sentence into English. Otherwise, this is 100% her story and has been verified. I would like to tell my story, but please keep me anonymous. I'm ashamed of this. I live in Vietnam and I'm a widow. I'm 38 years old and my husband passed away after battling cancer in 2018. I have a son who is 10 years old and I live at home with my parents after my husband passed. I am not extremely poor, at least I was not before this scammer. I own a t-shirt store in a busy tourist district in Ho Chi Minh City. I work at this store with my family and we sell t-shirts, handmade souvenir baskets, and other items for tourists. I'm a hard-working woman, but after my husband passed, I was scared to raise my son alone. I decided after being alone for a while that I wanted to try and find love. I decided to look outside of my country. Now, my husband was a good man, but many men in my country are not, and I did not want to find a man who didn't work or had alcohol problems. I joined a group on Facebook for single women in my country looking for men. I had a couple of older American men who messaged me, but they were unkind and perverts. They were not scammers, but real men, 50 to 60 years old, who thought I would be their lover. They would send disgusting pictures and tell me they wanted me to come to their country to be their cleaner and wife. Now, I do not want to leave my country. I have a son, I have parents here, and we have our store. I love my country despite all the bad that happens here and all the poverty. I was looking for a man who might want to visit me here and maybe a man who would like to think of living over here and help with our business. I really don't know what I wanted, but I was not looking for a way out of my country. I was looking for a love, for a caring man. I posted a picture of myself in the group, my age and where I was from. I got a message from a man named Patrick Knoll. He was a handsome blonde-haired man and he said he was a pilot and would travel around the world. He said he comes to Vietnam often on his flight pass and has layovers often in Vietnam. He said he was also a widow, that his wife had died from cancer, and I felt this connection with him because of it. He said he has a son named Harry who is 11 years old. I told him about my son too and how he struggles without his father anymore. He needs a male figure in his life, and my father is older and not able to do the things that my son needs to take him fishing, build things like that. My father's just simply too old to do all those fatherly things. Patrick said his son was struggling too. He was very lonely, and since Patrick has to fly so often for work, his son has to stay with a nanny. Patrick said he was born in Germany, but lives in Los Angeles. He asked me after some time of chatting if we could talk on WhatsApp. I told him yes, as I use WhatsApp to talk to many online friends and family who live far away. We started talking on WhatsApp, and I tried to video call him, but he said because he was in a secured area of the airport and getting ready to fly, he couldn't video chat with me. This happened often, but one night he video called me, but the connection was poor and the screen froze often, but it was him on the video. It was still fun to talk to him, and we started a relationship online. He told me that I was just what he was looking for, and he would call me sometimes when he was at the hotel between flights. He even sent me a picture of himself in the hotel and in his airplane. My English is not perfect, and I was embarrassed to talk on the phone, and I told him this, so we mostly texted. I had a translator app which made it easy. Sometimes we video chatted, but the connection was always poor. The video would freeze every single time. He told me he wanted to meet me soon, but he was on flight contracts. I told my family I had met this wonderful man. Patrick said he was interested in retiring and living in Vietnam with me as an expat. He said he could rent his home in Los Angeles and come stay in my city. He talked about renting an apartment for him, my son, along with his son. We could be a family. He asked me for information on apartments for rent, and I gave him a website of some rental services. A friend of mine worked at one of these rental agencies, and I told him to call her or email her and ask for available rentals when he got ready to come over. He said he wanted to retire early because the airline he worked for kept flying him on a crazy schedule, and he was tired of it. Patrick told me he wanted to enjoy life with me and marry me, and we could live together in Vietnam. He said he had 2 more months to finish his flight contract, and then he would be able to meet me and bring his son. I also emailed his son and introduced myself. We used a translator, as I do not type English very clearly. His son would always respond to me and started calling me Mom. I sent photos of my son to his son Harry and said they would be great friends and brothers soon. His son Harry would always ask for photos of my son, and I was excited for them to meet and be able to be brothers. Patrick told me his boss for the airline was being very cruel to him, making him fly many hours without rest. I was upset at that, and I said it was bad for your health. He would write to me and tell me how tired he was, and I was worried about him, but knew soon that he would retire and everything would be okay because we'd be together. Patrick would send me website links to rentals of apartments he liked. He told me he would like a nice big place with a pool in the community, and some of the apartments he was showing me were luxury living apartments. I told him that's so very expensive. He said money is no problem, and he gets a big retirement check after his last flight. My friend at the rental agency said she did get an email from Patrick asking about some rentals, and she did send him some properties that will be available for rent now and in the future. All of this was falling into place like a fairy tale. One night, Patrick told me he had been saving money for our future and wanted to marry me. He had me log into his bank account, which showed he had nearly $1 million US. He said it was for us to live on. I was shocked and touched that he was so romantic wanting to marry me. I told him yes, I would marry him. He wanted me to be sure that I would be taken care of and my son. He said he was coming soon to see me, and I was so very excited. I told everyone Patrick was coming, and we would be moving in together. I started packing my things and awaiting him to arrive. Patrick told me that he had put a package together for me. It was an engagement ring, $10,000 in cash, perfume, and a PlayStation for my son. It was shocking, so many nice expensive things. He showed me pictures of the items and the box that it would come in. He said he shipped it from Germany before he left for his flight, and I needed to contact the courier company about the package as it will arrive from customs soon. I emailed the courier company that Patrick gave me for the email. I received a reply from a lady named Brenda Anderson with the International Courier and Package Delivery Company named Ultra Delivery. They gave me the shipping and tracking number and website of their company. I checked the package and it was showing me that it was in Manila, Philippines, awaiting a final shipment. I was so excited I couldn't wait for these beautiful gifts. The day they were supposed to arrive, the box never came. I emailed the delivery company and did not get a reply. I let Patrick know as well, but he was flying in Dubai and couldn't respond to me. His WhatsApp status said he was away in flight to Dubai. The next day I received an email from the Drug Enforcement Agency of Manila. It stated that the package addressed to me was stopped in customs because it contained too much money and undeclared money, as well as upon searching the package they found stolen iPhones and jewelry that was reported stolen from Germany in a big jewelry heist last month. I received documents via email from the police in Manila who said that the box was being held and a warrant for my arrest was being expedited to Vietnam for fraud. I was upset and in shock. I told him I don't know what was in that package and that Patrick, my boyfriend, mailed it. It must be some kind of mistake. The officer I was emailing with showed me screenshots of Patrick and I's WhatsApp conversation where he told me what he was sending and photos of the items. The police officer called me a liar. I told him I didn't know anything was stolen or illegal. I am totally innocent. The police officer told me that the police have been tracking me and they know I have a son and live with my parents and own a shop in Ho Chi Minh City. I was in a panic and I told them it's a mistake, but they told me I would be arrested. Jail is something we've always feared in our family. It'll ruin your life, and the jails here are very bad places to be. I was crying and so upset. I emailed the officer and begged them to understand I did nothing wrong. I tried calling Patrick again, but he wouldn't answer his WhatsApp, and his messages from me went unread. The officer said I could pay them off, and they would make this whole situation go away, and that they were keeping the box of goods too. I didn't care. I wanted all this to go away, and I know sometimes you can pay off police. It happens all the time in my country. I told them I'll do whatever I have to do. They told me I needed to wire 2 million Vietnamese dong to the Philippines. I did this right away, and the police said they would make my case go away. I wired the money through a wire transfer service to a woman in Manila, Philippines. A few days later, I received an email stating that the case had been closed. Patrick still did not respond to my messages. Finally, though, I got a WhatsApp call from an unknown person who stated he was a barrister for the airlines and that Patrick had been flying to Dubai and was stopped for having illegal money, and they had taken his bank account. He was in jail in Dubai and his barrister was trying to get him out. Patrick was allowed to speak to me, and he did talk on the phone to me. He told me that his co-pilot was laundering money, and he had no idea that they had switched his luggage, and now he's in jail. I told Patrick about the package, and he said he would pay me back double once he got out of jail, but he was sick, and the guards were not giving him his medicine. He told me he loved me and needed my help. The barrister then told me that he would need to pay the courts to have Patrick set free, and for them to drop the case. I was so upset I didn't know what to do. The barrister told me I could pay the fee, but before that, if I wanted to talk to Patrick again, I would need to pay an additional fee for his phone time while he was in jail. He told me I needed to buy an iTunes card, but I told him I've never seen such a card in my city and wouldn't even know where to get one. His barrister told me then I would need to send $100 to Dubai to cover the cost of phone time. He gave me the name of a man named Michael Okiri who handles phone accounts of the prisoners in Dubai. I told him I would send it now, and he asked me to use an online transfer service. So I did and wired it right away. The barrister then told me I would need to pay for Patrick's release so he could fly out of Dubai. It would be $5,000, but to be sent via Bitcoin account. I didn't know what Bitcoin was or how to use it. The barrister told me of the locations of a Bitcoin ATM and how to use it. He gave me an account number and told me I have 24 hours to deposit the money or Patrick might die. He's very sick and the prison guards have beat him. The barrister sent me a photo of Patrick all beat up in prison. There were only 2 places in my city that had these Bitcoin machines, and I had to go like crazy to get this money out of our family savings and get to this Bitcoin machine. I was so fearful, and I told my parents what will happen, and I showed my parents Patrick's bank account login information. They were satisfied that he would pay us back as he had all this money. I sent the money via Bitcoin and awaited to hear back from Patrick or the barrister. I let the barrister know it was sent and heard nothing back. I tried calling via WhatsApp to the barrister and to Patrick and heard nothing, no one. Patrick's Facebook profile was gone, or he blocked me, and I never heard from him again. I was scared and made contact online with the police in Dubai from a website I found. I heard back from the police, and they were stating that they don't have any pilot named Patrick being held, and it's not how it works. And I might want to look into the police as it sounds like I got involved with a scam. I took my information online and to my discovery found the pictures were stolen from a man named Patrick. He's a famous pilot, not a widow with a child. I was scammed. I also found the man online who I sent $100 to in Dubai. He's a guest worker at a hotel in Dubai. When I messaged him, he blocked me. I am not left with nothing, but my family is suffering because of it. We still have our store, but we're going through life without, and I'm so ashamed for being scammed. I do not know who the person in the Philippines is, and I did not find her on Facebook. I made a police report, but they only laughed at me and told me I was stupid to send money. Please let ladies in my country know not to do what I have done. I'm heartbroken and suffering at the hands of a fake Patrick Pilot. We'd like to thank this lady for sharing her story. If you'd like to share your story of a scammer encounter, you can find us on Facebook under the page Scamming Scammers Action, or drop us an email at scammingscammers@gmail.com. We will verify your story and narrate it into a video with your permission. Thanks for listening. Until next time.